To save his childhood sweetheart Selene suffering from a congenital heart condition, my mate, the Storm Pax Alpha, forced me to remove my heart to be given to his beloved. Selene saved my life when I was suffering from silver poisoning a year ago, so I have to save her. She needs your heart. But don't worry, you are the rarest white wolf with the strongest healing ability. I have prepared an artificial heart for you, and you will be fine, Ethan said. I tried to explain to Ethan that my healing ability has become very poor in the past year, so that transplanting my heart would kill me. But Ethan didn't believe me. He didn't know that I was the one who had exchanged my rare white wolf's healing ability with a witch a year ago to save him from silver poisoning. But to spare Ethan the guilt, I never told him what I had sacrificed. While Ethan stood vigil outside Selene's hospital room, I lay on the cold operating table, hopelessly waiting for death. Tubes pierced my entire body, the beeping machines sounding like the moon goddess calling me home, reminding me it was time to go. Just as my heart monitor flatlined, news of Selene's successful surgery came through. The emergency light in the operating room went dark, and my eyes closed forever. But Ethan had already blocked our pack bond, so he didn't even notice my wolf was gone. Perhaps my spirit was too heavy with resentment, because my soul took the form of a wolf and appeared by Ethan's side. Watching Ethan embrace Selene, who had escaped death, his eyes red with emotion, my spirit held silently in grief. I wanted to ask Ethan if, when we were both wheeled into surgery at the same time, he had worried about my life for even a moment. The answer was no. After all, it was Ethan himself who ordered the healers to remove my heart. When they removed my heart, pain ripped through my body like silver-tipped claws. I sent a message through our mate bond, my tone pleading. Ethan, I'm sorry. Please. The artificial heart won't work. I've exchanged my rare white wolf's healing ability with a witch to save your life. I'm not a white wolf anymore. I, who had never shown weakness before Ethan, thought that if I surrendered and accepted all the false accusations, would he spare my life for the sake of our 5 years together? But Ethan responded with a cold laugh. Stop talking nonsense. When did you save me? Don't think you can get away with your lies. All these years, all the ways you've hurt Selene, one by one, when she recovers, I'll settle accounts with you. You want to die? Well, you'll have to apologize to Selene first. I tried to open my cracked lips to tell him about the witch's bargain, about sacrificing my white wolf for him, but I had no strength left. Ethan, as if still unsatisfied, growled at me, his alpha voice making my fading wolf whimper. You disgust me. As the bond was blocked, my heart sank completely, and with it, my 5 years of love for Ethan vanished like morning mist. Ethan said I disgusted him, but when he marked me as his Luna, he told me passionately that he would love me forever, that I was his first choice, his exception, his favorite. But once Selene appeared, he forgot about his mate. Ethan's hand gently caressed Selene's face, as if looking at some rare jewel from the pack's treasure. Thank the moon goddess you're alive. Thank goodness. His choked voice and bloodshot eyes told me that Ethan hadn't slept all night because of Selene. But while Ethan worried about Selene, did he even think about the fact that I was already dead? Selene forced her pale lips to move. Ethan, I'm sorry for worrying you. Where's Aurora? Is she still angry with me? I should go apologize to her. As she spoke, Selene tried to get up, though the fakeness was obvious to anyone with eyes, except Ethan, who couldn't see it. Sure enough, Ethan gently pressed Selene back down, stroking her head affectionately. Silly she-wolf, Aurora is the one who should apologize. What wrong have you done? You've saved my life. You're always so kind, you'll get taken advantage of. The pack healer, watching the two, couldn't help but tease. You two really are affectionate. Then he looked at Selene. During your surgery, your alpha waited in the hallway all night, never leaving for a single moment. Selene's face flushed with embarrassment, but Ethan just froze, making no attempt to explain the misunderstanding. Then the healer changed the subject, sighing deeply. Unlike the operating table next door. That she-wolf. I've never seen anything like it. Her wolf changed color during the surgery, from gray back to pure white. But it was too late. Even with the artificial heart, she couldn't survive. Such a pity. Ethan's expression softened slightly, and hope flickered in my spirit. If Ethan could guess that the pitiful person was me, would he be merciful enough to claim my body? After a long wait, Ethan just sighed. That is indeed sad. My ghostly gaze grew defeated. I laughed bitterly at myself. Ethan's heart and eyes were full of Selene now. How could he think of me? Ethan didn't continue that topic but followed the healer as he wheeled Selene into the recovery room. When passing by the operating room where my body lay, Ethan's footsteps faltered. He glanced inside where my cold body was lying, but my feet were facing the door, so no one could see my face. But if only Ethan had looked carefully, he would have seen the crescent moon mark on my calf, the one that appeared when I gave up my white wolf to the witch to save his life a year ago. After Ethan and Selene entered the recovery room, my adoptive brother Caleb came running from outside, brushing shoulders with Ethan as they passed. Caleb took my cold hand, his own trembling. He wanted to stroke my hair, but as his fingertips touched my icy forehead, 2 clear tears rolled down his cheeks. "You fool. If only you had made it to me instead, then you wouldn't have ended up like this, dead with no one to care." Looking at Caleb's travel-worn appearance, I felt a lump in my throat. He must have just returned from his assignment away from the European pack. Ever since my marking ceremony with Ethan, Caleb had left our territory. Back then, Caleb's reason for leaving was that Ethan couldn't tolerate his presence, and he didn't want to cause me unnecessary trouble. I was an orphan, taken in by the pack elders when I was 7. Caleb was my brother in name, though at first, he didn't like me much. But as time passed, he became increasingly protective. I had broken ties with my adoptive parents because of Ethan. The reason was simple: although Ethan's wolf and mine recognized each other as mates, Ethan already had a lover, his childhood sweetheart, Selene. My adoptive parents believed that even if I mated with Ethan and became the pack's Luna, I would struggle to find happiness. They constantly advised me not to rush into accepting the mate bond with Ethan. I was too young then, always feeling they hadn't adopted me out of affection. I thought they prevented me from being with Ethan only because of their controlling nature, unable to accept my defiance. Caleb helped me escape from home. As for his feelings toward me, I had known about them for a long time. "I knew about the witch," Caleb whispered, his voice breaking. "I knew you gave up your white wolf for him. Why didn't you tell him the truth?" His words hit me like a physical blow. Caleb had known all along about my sacrifice. The day I'd gone to the witch in the Forbidden Forest, trading my rare white wolf's healing powers to save Ethan from a silver poisoning, Caleb had followed me in secret. Compared to marrying Ethan, marrying Caleb seemed even more impossible. Not only would my adoptive parents disapprove, but the rest of the pack would never accept it. We would struggle under their mockery, and Caleb would never achieve his dream of becoming the pack's lead warrior. Caleb carried my body away just as Ethan was heading out to buy food for Selene. She had suddenly expressed a craving for desserts from a shop 30 miles away, and Ethan had risen without hesitation. Yet when I had once asked him to bring me a wolfsbane tea from downstairs on his way home, he couldn't be bothered to make the detour. When Caleb and Ethan came face to face, my body was covered with a white sheet. Their eyes met. Ethan knew who Caleb was. "Move aside," Caleb said, not bothering with politeness. Of course, why would he be courteous to the man who had killed me with his own hands? Ethan's expression was complex as he stepped back. After all, one should respect the dead. But as Caleb turned away, Ethan's gaze fell on my calf. "Wait." Ethan chased after him as if suddenly remembering something. Who is the deceased to you?" My breath caught. I feared Caleb would blurt out the truth about my death, yet part of me wanted to see Ethan's reaction when he learned of my passing. After a long silence, Caleb finally spoke. "She's my mate." I was stunned. So was Ethan. Ethan knew my circumstances, including Caleb's feelings for me. "When did you get married?" The question slipped from Ethan's lips before he could stop himself. After asking, he seemed surprised at his own curiosity. Caleb gave a cold laugh, countering without hesitation. "I don't believe that's any of your business." Ethan was taken aback, then responded with scorn. "You always claimed to love Aurora so deeply." I see now it was all talk. Caleb's retreating footsteps halted. He turned to look at Ethan, his eyes flashing with a dangerous golden glow. "Compared to you, I haven't done nearly enough." He clutched my body closer. "The artificial heart you prepared, did you ever test it on a wolf who wasn't white? Did you ever consider she might not be what you thought she was?" The sarcasm was so obvious that Ethan couldn't possibly miss it. I followed Caleb as he left, glancing back at Ethan. I realized I didn't love him as much as I once had. A month after Selene was hospitalized, Ethan came to pick her up. Unlike my death, where only Caleb mourned, Selene's hospital room was buzzing with activity. Her friends and family packed the room, and when Ethan appeared, the atmosphere became electric. Alpha Ethan, when are you going to mate with our Selene? Seeing how worried you've been about her, she must be the luckiest she-wolf alive. Selene lowered her head shyly, her voice barely audible like a mosquito's buzz. Please don't say such things. Ethan already has a mate. I don't want Aurora to misunderstand our relationship if she hears this. I don't want to be a homewrecker, or she'll make things difficult for me again. One of her friends scoffed. What's so great about that jealous, petty bitch? Ethan loves you, not her. The unwanted one is the real intruder. What can she do besides hurt you? If I were Ethan, I would have broken the mate bond with her long ago. Hearing these words, I could only laugh bitterly. So I was the homewrecker all along. But Selene always did this, subtly guiding Ethan to believe everything was my fault. What chilled me even more was Ethan's reaction. He remained silent, simply helping Selene pack her things. Among all those people crowding the room, not one offered to help. I remembered the days after Ethan and I became mates. He always said he would love me forever, but I did all the housework and endured all the hardships. I had thought he would shield me from life's storms, only to discover later that Ethan himself was the tempest in my life. Alpha, Selene has stayed single for you all these years. You can't disappoint her now. The most talkative person in the room grabbed Ethan's arm, eagerly trying to push the two together. My heart turned bitter. So this was how they spoke about me behind my back. In their eyes, I was unforgivable. Ethan didn't directly answer, but I suspected he shared their sentiments. Selene was brought back to Ethan's bachelor cabin, a private territory he claimed after one of our fights. He had never taken me there. I should have realized sooner that Selene was Ethan's exception. He could change any principle for her sake. Ethan neatly arranged Selene's belongings. As he bent down, Selene suddenly walked over and embraced him from behind, wrapping her arms around his waist. My heart tightened. My body was barely cold in the grave, yet here they were, so intimate. The atmosphere between them was as if Ethan had never mated with anyone else. Ethan's body stiffened, it seemed he wanted to pull away, but Selene's arms tightened around him. She rested her head against his back and whispered, Ethan, give me one chance, please. I didn't mean to leave you back then. If my mother hadn't fallen ill, I would never have taken Elder Mason's high-grade healing crystal and left the pack. Oh, so she left to save someone. Their love story ended in tragedy, a cliché plot that Ethan had carried with him for so long. Ethan let out a laugh, his emotions unreadable. If you had told me the truth then, we wouldn't have become a regret. If my father could provide a healing crystal, couldn't I have done the same? I am grateful to you for saving me. You exchanged your most precious heart with the witch for me, so I asked Aurora to give her heart to you. But I have already formed a mate with Aurora, and I will never betray her. Selene was momentarily speechless. But she was clever. Knowing that Ethan now despised me, she quickly shifted the conversation to focus on me. Is that why you ignored it when Aurora bullied me? Because you hated me. She hired wolves to smear my reputation in the pack and even sent rogues who almost hurt me. Even when I was sick, she refused to give me her heart. Is this your way of punishing me? Lies. Selene was lying. Everything she said was false. I didn't even know where Selene's pack was located. Besides, as an orphan, what connections did I have to hire a gang of rogue wolves? A careful investigation would have revealed countless holes in Selene's slander, but Ethan believed every word without question. And her claims that Ethan had ignored it all were pure fantasy. As soon as Ethan heard these accusations, he dragged me out in front of the entire pack, his expression twisted with rage as if I had committed some unspeakable crime. He gathered a group of rough wolves and watched as they humiliated and beat me. I curled up in a corner, desperate. My wolf whimpered and trembled while those brutes filmed my naked body with their phones. Ethan sat nearby, watching the spectacle. Afterward, he dangled the phone in front of my face, his tone threatening. If you dare hurt Selene again, I won't hesitate to upload these videos online. This will haunt you for the rest of your life. No matter how many times I denied it, saying it wasn't me, Ethan acted as if he were deaf. He never believed me. Now, as Selene brought up the past again, Ethan didn't tell her how he had tortured and humiliated me based on her single accusation. How ironic. I couldn't understand why Ethan had mated with me if he didn't love me. Was it just to punish Selene for leaving? Was that why he used me, hurting me without restraint? Ethan, let's start over, Selene pleaded. I'll forget that you mated with someone else, and you can forget that I once left you. My heart knows I truly love you. You feel the same, don't you? Seeing Ethan's solemn expression, Selene softened her tone. When it came to coaxing Ethan, Selene was always in her element, and Ethan invariably fell for her tactics. In contrast, whenever Ethan was angry with me, no matter how hard I tried, he never showed me even the slightest smile. Love and indifference were so obvious, yet I had been foolish enough to realize it only after death. The man who never smiled at me was always gentle with another woman. He would lower his standards again and again for Selene. My heart was riddled with countless pinpricks of pain. Now, I no longer cared how Selene slandered me or how much Ethan despised me. You just got out of the hospital. You should rest early, Ethan said, pushing Selene away. He didn't directly answer her question but simply left. After Ethan departed, Selene stomped her foot in frustration. Ethan went downstairs and looked up at the balcony of our home. It was completely dark. I used to always leave a light on for Ethan. No matter how late he returned, that light would illuminate his path. Ethan visibly paused. When he entered our home, a chill greeted him from the place that had been empty for over a month. Ethan frowned. Rora, how long are you going to sulk? All I did was bring you before the pack council. If you didn't lie about your white wolf, I wouldn't have treated you that way. Ethan shouted toward the bedroom, his voice full of disgust and blame. I followed him, laughing coldly. 5 years of love couldn't withstand someone else's few words. It was fortunate that I had died. Otherwise, there would have been many more days like this ahead. Today, Ethan could demand my heart for Selene's sake. Tomorrow, who knew what else he might do? Ethan searched the entire house for me. On the table still sat the meal I had prepared before going to the healer's cabin, now moldy beyond recognition. The flowers in the vase had withered and blackened. That day, I had prepared a surprise for him, wanting to celebrate our 4th mating anniversary. I waited and waited, only to be met with the pack council's forced execution order. Even without asking, I knew Ethan had spent that day comforting Selene as she prepared for her new life. Selene said she was afraid of surgery, so Ethan held her hand tightly, telling her not to fear. Meanwhile, our child and I faced death. In the moment I needed Ethan most, he was praying for someone else's survival. Ethan frowned at the mess on the dining table. He tried to open our mate bond, only to feel an unbearable pain from the depths of his soul. Sweating, he blocked the connection again and took out his phone to call me, attempting to contact me by different means. Once, twice. I couldn't count how many times Ethan called. He rarely showed such persistence. Actually, Ethan never actively called me without a reason. Today, he seemed unusually patient. But that call would never be answered. Seeing that he couldn't get through, Ethan sent me a message, recording his voice. Rora, haven't you sulked enough? Look at the state of the house. I haven't even settled accounts with you, and you've already run off. I'm giving you 1 hour to get your ass back here, or we're dissolving our mate bond. Dissolve our mate bond. That would have been great. If Ethan had suggested that before, I probably would have agreed, avoiding this fate altogether. Soon, Ethan's phone vibrated. His eyes visibly brightened, but upon seeing it was a message from Selene, they dimmed again. I wondered if I was imagining things. Ethan, I left something at the healer's cabin. Could you get it for me? Ethan replied with a quick okay. As he put on his jacket, he paused at the door, looking back at the house with an unreadable expression. I smiled bitterly. It was already late at night, yet Ethan was always like this, always accommodating Selene's every request. Once, when I had stomach pains in the middle of the night and asked him to take me to the healer's cabin, he complained it was troublesome and told me to endure until it passed. Now, the healer's cabin wasn't too far away, was it? Ethan drove to the healer's cabin and found the room where Selene had stayed, only to run into a senior healer. I recognized the senior healer. She had been next to me during the operation. She had also watched the pack council broadcast about me and felt sympathetic toward my situation. When the senior healer recognized Ethan, she snorted derisively. What? Now you remember to look for your Luna who died on the operating table? Ethan froze, staring at the senior healer in disbelief. What did you say? Who died? The senior healer looked at Ethan as if he were an idiot. Your Luna, Aurora. I don't know how you could be her mate. Your mate was the real one who made a deal with the Dark Witch a year ago to save you from silver poisoning. But she asked us not to tell you, so as not to make you feel guilty. The senior healer continued. That artificial heart you prepared would only work with a white wolf's healing powers. Without them, it was just a piece of useless